Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
We're starting out the week pretty cool, but we've got this warm air coming in just in time for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Records being broken in the central U.S. I'll show you how close we come to that here, coming up.
And stop the spread. New rules take effect today at one local hospital. What you need to know before visiting a loved one.
And one person is dead and another in police custody after an early morning shooting in Durham. How police made that arrest so quickly.
And if you are dreaming about a white Christmas, that's the only place you're likely to see snow is in your dreams as we take a live look over beautiful Lake Gaston this afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michelle McConaughey in for Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Chris Levingood. Yeah, I'm not mad about it, but I know some people were kind of hoping they'd see a little snow this year, Chris. Basically kind of the opposite when you get to Thanksgiving, to Christmas Day. It's going to be a warm one, but right now things are starting to get a little warmer-ish outside.
Warmer-ish. Yeah, it's a good way to put it, right? Still great travel weather, especially in the state of North Carolina. Now, by Tuesday, we'll track some very spotty, very light rain showers in the morning. That's not going to have a huge effect on travel. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day look to be good to go. Let's take you along I-95. You've got New York and Philly that may deal with a little bit of snow on Tuesday. That'll change over to a mix and to some rain throughout the day Tuesday. Baltimore, D.C., Richmond, just cloudy. We'll see a few stray showers as far south as Fayetteville. Savannah, Georgia, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, looking great. Now, let's talk about that northeast and New England snow, because through Tuesday, you see the potential for several inches up toward Maine, and then anything else farther to the south of that is actually going to be pretty light for their standards, right? So Boston, maybe an inch. New York, maybe half an inch. Hartford, Connecticut could see about an inch of snow as well. Back here at home, again, as Chris and Michelle were saying, it's not happening. And to be honest with you guys, it doesn't happen very often. I actually just crunched the numbers on how many white Christmases we've seen. You'll be surprised to see how few there have been. But anyway, sunshine in Zebulon right now, and temperatures starting to rise. Garner at 46, Fayetteville 50 degrees, Durham at 46, with Cary and Rocky Mount at 48. And as we head deeper into the afternoon, temperatures will rise into the low 50s with plenty of sunshine. Just a few stray showers tomorrow up until about 11 o'clock in the morning, and then the warm-up begins. We'll show you which parts of the area could get close to 70 Christmas Day coming up.
All right, thank you, Chris. Well, there are new rules to follow if you are visiting someone at WakeMed Hospital. The hospital is making the change because of a rise in respiratory illnesses like RSV and the flu. WRAL's Liz McLaughlin is live at WakeMed with what you need to know. Hey, Liz.
So, Michelle, this is really all about reducing risk during this peak virus season. So starting today, children under the age of 12 won't be allowed to visit patients inside WakeMed hospitals, and that includes patient rooms, waiting areas, and even emergency departments like the one here behind me at WakeMed's Raleigh campus. This is really to protect the most vulnerable patients there, babies, older patients, people who are immunocompromised. And flu cases, by the way, are on the rise across the state right now. Health officials confirming nearly a dozen flu deaths, including one child this year. And health officials say that those numbers are higher than they were last year. And that's mainly due to a dominant strain that's going around right now that tends to cause more severe illness, especially in children and in older adults. So similar visitation restrictions you'll see at Duke and UNC health facilities as well. The health leaders are really urging people to take precautions, staying home when you're sick, washing your hands often, and really considering wearing that mask if you have symptoms, if you're coughing and sneezing. They're also stressing, early testing and treatment to help prevent some of those deaths from happening. And WakeMed says these restrictions are seasonal and that they'll be reevaluated as those numbers start to change. In Raleigh, I'm Liz McLaughlin, WRAL News.
And a new severe flu variant is spreading across the country. Some doctors are referring to it as a super flu. At least 1,900 people have died from the flu this season, and 11 of those deaths right here in North Carolina, including a child. Because millions of people are traveling for the holidays, doctors are concerned more flu cases could spread. They say, yes, the flu vaccine offers the best protection, but that may not be enough this year.
We think that this clade K virus is evading population immunity, meaning more people are susceptible to infection. It has mutations that may allow it to evade some, but not all, of the influenza vaccine-induced protection.
The people most vulnerable to the flu are children, adults 65 and up, and people with underlying health conditions. Medical experts are recommending people 6 months or older to get a flu shot this year.
North Carolina could have its next offensive coordinator, and it's a big name in college coaching. Multiple reports are saying that the Tar Heels and Bill Belichick will hire Bobby Petrino to run the offense. Petrino is best known for his coaching stints at Louisville and Arkansas. He was the offensive coordinator at Arkansas for the last 2 seasons and had top 20 offenses both years. UNC fired offensive coordinator Freddie Kitchens after a 4-8 season.
The Statesville Regional Airport reopened yesterday for the first time since that crash that killed 7 people, and that included NASCAR driver Greg Biffle and his family. The NTSB is working to determine why the business jet attempted to return to the airport shortly after takeoff on Thursday. It was only in the air for about 10 minutes. A preliminary report is expected within about 30 days. And a person is dead and another is in custody after a shooting at a home in Durham. This happened around 5 this morning on Ardsley Drive near Cheek Road. Deputies say a resident at that home confessed to shooting another person in the home and was arrested. The victim was found dead at that scene, and we're working to learn more about what led up to that shooting.
In the past hour, police in Goldsboro confirmed 2 16-year-olds and a 15-year-old are charged in the shooting death of a 13-year-old girl. This happened just after 4:30 yesterday at an apartment complex off of Patetown Road. Investigators were at the scene for hours last night as they tried to figure out exactly what led up to this. A woman on scene told WRAL that her 13-year-old daughter was killed. Whitney Toon says gun violence has been a persistent concern in the area and says this loss is devastating for her family and the community.
I'm heartbroken. My daughter's gone. Christmas is around the corner. She didn't deserve this. She's a little girl. She's not coming home. It doesn't matter where she live, where she be at. It should have happened. And there's other little kids out here that it's in danger as well with the violence.
Police say the 3 teens who are charged are being held at Pitt County Jail in Greenville. They'll all be charged with first-degree murder and felony conspiracy. Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, legendary singer Barry Manilow just posted on his Instagram revealing that he has been diagnosed with lung cancer. So you can see his photo there. He just made this announcement saying that he had bronchitis for 2 periods over multiple weeks. So his doctor ordered an MRI. Then later they found that cancerous spot. So we'll be sure to keep you updated. And of course, we're wishing Mr. Manilow a speedy recovery.
Absolutely. Just such a well-known voice. Goodness. A man charged with leading Halifax County deputies on a chase is free on bond. The deputy says Traquan Richardson was speeding near West 10th Street shortly after 1 o'clock yesterday morning. The sheriff's office says Richardson did not stop when that deputy tried to pull him over, and he eventually crashed into a ditch. Court documents show he had a blood alcohol level near 3 times the legal limit. He faces numerous charges, including DWI.
Happening today, the State Board of Elections will discuss reducing people's options for early voting next year. 2026 is just around the corner, and that means the midterm elections are already underway. Today, the state's top election officials will meet to approve early voting plans for most North Carolina counties. Republicans recently took control of elections administration in North Carolina, and now they're proposing plans to cut early voting access in dozens of counties statewide. We will be following the debate as it unfolds. Check back for updates later today on WRAL.com.
Just a heads up, if you're headed to the airport, be sure you have your real ID. While you can still board a flight without one, you have to do extra screening beforehand. It was recently announced TSA would begin charging people $45 to board a flight starting on February 1st. If you didn't have that ID, that is. Until then, TSA may ask people without a real ID to go through more screening and complete an identity verification process. Other forms of ID include a passport or a global reentry card.
And speaking of airport travel, we are keeping track of the parking situation at RDU. We know that a lot of folks are planning to take flights today. So here's one of those parking lots here. It looks like it's 64% full. We know that just about all of the parking lots are more than 50%. So let's check out the central parking lot, 70% full. So be sure to arrive early if you know that you're going to be taking a flight today, and always check your airline's app.
Not a bad idea. Thanks, Kelsey. The roads are going to be busy over the next 2 weeks as we're giving you a live look right now at I-87 and Smithfield Road. Travel experts say the busiest time will be the weekend after Christmas, with about 3.3 million North Carolinians expected to hit the roads between now and New Year's. Of those traveling, about 90% say they're going to go by car. AAA says timing matters. Afternoons and early evenings are usually the worst. Mornings tend to be a bit smoother, though. AAA also urges drivers to check your tires, batteries, and fluids before leaving. Last holiday season, roadside assistant calls topped 860,000 nationwide.
And taking a look at Wall Street right now at the stock market, it is a shortened week right now. Dow Jones up 266 points, the S&P 500 up 41 points, and the Dow Jones again 266, NASDAQ 131 this afternoon. Next at noon, the $50,000 question. Will the FBI give a tipster the reward offered during the manhunt for the Brown University shooting? Why the mayor where the shooting happened says the tipster deserves the money.
And surviving suspect in jail. The charges a man faces in the deadly mass Bondi Beach shooting in Australia, plus how Australian leadership plans to tighten gun laws.
And what to know with pet in tow. The must-know info to remember before packing up your pet for traveling.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL weather app. Download now for live radar.
Well, the mayor of Providence, Rhode Island, is speaking up for the tipster who helped lead investigators to the Brown University mass shooting suspect. The mayor says the tipster deserves the FBI award. The agency, offered a $50,000 reward for information leading to the identification, the arrest, and conviction of the individual responsible. Well, a comment that first appeared on Reddit contained details about the suspect's vehicle and other vital information. Officers traced the suspect's their rental vehicle to a storage facility where that shooter was found dead. But because Claudio Valente died, well, there will never be an arrest or conviction. It's unclear how the FBI might respond to the mayor's request. The surviving suspect in the deadly mass shooting at Sydney's Bondi Beach is now in prison. Naveed Akram appeared in court today via video after he was released from the hospital. He was being treated for a wound to the abdomen. Akram is charged with 59 offenses, including 15 counts of murder. Authorities say the anti-Semitic attack at the start of Hanukkah was Australia's worst mass shooting since 1996. The New South Wales government introduced draft laws to Parliament today, and the laws would make Australian citizenship a condition of qualifying for a firearms license. It would also set a new maximum limit of 4 guns for recreational shooters.
CBS News says a 60 Minutes report on El Salvador's prison will air at a future time. The message comes after the network pulled the program just 3 hours before it was scheduled to air. That prison is a mega prison in El Salvador, where the U.S. has sent hundreds of mostly Venezuelan migrants without trial. It has been condemned by human rights groups for its harsh conditions. In a note obtained by the New York Times, CBS correspondent Sharon Alfonsi wrote, "Our story was screened 5 times and cleared by both CBS attorneys and standards and practices." She went on to say that her team has comments from the administration, but they would not engage. And the Smithsonian Museum System may not receive some budget money if it does not comply with demands from the Trump administration. The White House Domestic Policy Council notified the Smithsonian that it wants internal records by mid-January showing it has complied with administration demands to remove certain content. President Trump ordered the museums to remove exhibits and materials presenting America in race-centered and divisive ideology ways.
A holiday trip to visit family turned into quite the ordeal for a Utah father and his 2 foster sons. 3 years ago, the couple opened their home to the refugee minors from Haiti, the father and that woman there. The couple learned that as of February, third Haitian immigrants will no longer have protection status in the United States. While taking the boys to visit their family in Buffalo, New York, the father ended up in Canada. Canadian officials allowed the boys to leave with their foster dad. However, U.S. agents at the border said they needed certain documents to return.
Our boys have Social Security cards. They have U.S. government issued work permits. They have the state ID with the yellow star in the corner. They have letters from the Department of Homeland Security.
But it wasn't enough. The couple sent documents to their senator's office, and hours later, the foster kids were released.
We are 45 days away from the 2026 Winter Olympics, and the torch is traveling through Sicily. The flame is now in the 17th stage. It's in the 17th stage, making its way through Campania. The torchbearers will walk along streets overlooking the sea and surrounding hills among historic villas and panoramic views. The flame will be in Naples on Christmas and then continue the journey. There are 60 stages in all before the beginning of the games, and you can catch all the action right here on WRAL. And hockey for the holidays is back. Watch the Carolina Hurricanes go head-to-head with the Detroit Red Wings for a post-holiday battle. Catch the game only on WRAL Saturday, December 27th at 7 p.m.
Well, tonight's Powerball jackpot is worth an estimated $1.6 billion. That is one of the largest prizes in U.S. history. The record was set in 2022 when a single winner in California won just over $2 billion. The next drawing is tonight, and that is right before our 11 o'clock newscast on WRAL. Now, weather-wise, we did not win the lottery. It is cold outside, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
And hour by hour, things still kind of cold, but we got that warm-up that's on the way.
Yeah, and I know we started at 28 this morning, so 46 already feels better. And as Chris was saying, big warm-up on tap as we head toward Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Rocky Mount's at 48, just a few high-level clouds filtering in with the sunshine there as we go throughout the day today. Otherwise, sunny and cool. Temperature in Raleigh at 51 this afternoon. Fayetteville at 54. Roanoke Rapids and South Hill, you're usually some of the cooler spots on the map, and you'll see highs today in the upper 40s. Cool thing about today is we've gained a whole 2 seconds of daylight since yesterday, if you're counting. So we'll continue to see that climb, gain another 6 minutes of daylight over the next 2 weeks. Over the next 6 weeks, we'll gain roughly 45 minutes of daylight. So we'll make the most out of it now that we're past the winter solstice. Maybe you're checking out some Christmas lights anytime after 5 p.m. You're good to go. It'll be cool out there, as it should be this time of year. Temperatures will be in the low 40s at 6 p.m. We'll be in the 30s by 8 p.m. and we'll stay hunkered down in the 30s overnight with increasing clouds. Most of us bottoming out at about 30 to 35 degrees, and then you see those clouds moving through. Here's Futurecast, 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, maybe a stray shower. And as I roll it through forward in time, you'll notice that the showers are very sporadic, very light. Anything heavier is going to be closer to Virginia Beach. After 11 a.m. or so, that already limited chance of rain is out of here, and we actually start to see some gradual clearing in the sky after 2 or 3 p.m. High temperatures make it into the upper 50s and lower 60s tomorrow, and then things will start to warm up even more heading toward Christmas Eve as we start to get this little breeze out of the south and west, and a warm front stays to our north. Christmas Day, still looking at high temperatures in the upper 60s. And let's just say we hit 69 degrees on the nose. That would be the 6th warmest Christmas on record. It would be our warmest in only 4 years. The warmest Christmas was back in 1955 when we hit 75 degrees. So I wanted to go back and look at white Christmases in Raleigh. So the only two that had snow falling were in 2010 and 1947. The day after Christmas in 2010 is when we had a lot of snow. 1966, no snow was falling, but there was an inch on the ground, so only 3 times since 1889. No snow this time around, but our next best shot of rain comes in Sunday night. That's with another cold front. That one is actually going to cool things down for us. So we start out the week cool. 50s again tomorrow for most of the area. Mid to upper 60s Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Friday is one of those days where the forecast may change just depending on the location of a front, but it looks like after that things will start to warm up. Currently looking at low 70s for the weekend and colder air coming in next week, guys.
All right, thank you, Chris. Interim leader sharing his goals. This afternoon at 4, we hear from Cary's interim town manager for the first time. His plans to get things back on track after his predecessor's allegations of misusing funds.
Plus, a 5 on your side warning for parents. Some baby products may not meet safety standards, even on major shopping websites, which is why coming up at 5:30, Keely Arthur will share what we found and how you can protect your child. Secondhand gifts, what to give and what you should avoid. A message for last-minute shoppers caught in a Christmas crunch.
And customizing ChatGPT. Users who find the chatbot cold and rude can now change its personality. Ways you can give the technology a professional makeover.
So as you're looking to save money, it doesn't mean you have to hold back when you're buying things for the holidays. 5 on your side's Ashley Rowe shares some tips on thrifting for the best deals and the inside scoop on which used items you may want to avoid.
From sweaters to refurbished electronics, secondhand doesn't mean second rate. Consumer Reports says checking out resale sites, local thrift stores, and certified refurbished tech can help you give thoughtful and thrifty gifts this holiday season.
Buying secondhand can get you something nicer for less money than if you buy it brand new. Plus, it's great for the planet.
Cookware is a great option if you stick to stainless steel, cast iron, and ceramic nonstick coated. Skip nonstick cookware and anything with scratches, damage to the handles, and other signs of wear.
You also want to make sure that if it's something that plugs into power, plug it in and make sure that it actually turns on.
CR says getting used electronics is a great way to save money and reduce electronic waste, but it pays to be discerning. Here are some guidelines on which electronics to buy. Smartphones that are no more than 3 generations old, laptops, desktops, monitors, gaming consoles, TVs less than 3 years old too. It's best to skip headphones and earbuds, which can be challenging to clean thoroughly.
Consider refurbished devices that are sold at big box stores, which often come with a really generous return policy or a warranty. There's also sites like Back Market that refurbish and verify the products themselves, so you have peace of mind.
CR says there are certain things that you should never buy secondhand for yourself or anyone else. This includes car and booster seats for toddlers, cribs, bassinets, or bike and sport helmets. Ashley Rowe, 5 on your side.
OpenAI is giving users the ability to personalize their chatbot's character. The company says users will now be able to customize the way ChatGPT responds to them. Users can adjust 4 characteristics, including warm, enthusiastic, header and lists, and emoji. The update comes after users complained about ChatGPT not sounding conversational or friendly enough. Oh boy.
Well, I say please and thank you. That's just me.
Oh man. And happening today, a Raleigh Sports Lounge is the site of a free food giveaway just in time for the holidays. Halftime Lounge is hosting its Christmas Feed the Community event that will be on East Hargis Street from 6 to 7:30 tonight.
I'll be home for Christmas, but first, you're going to have to make it through TSA. More traffic. The countdown to the holiday hustle is up next.
And taming temper tantrums. Some parents struggle to regulate their child's behavior. How a device could help detect a tantrum before it happens. Imagine that. Wow. And here are your winning NC Education lottery numbers. Good luck.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
The record-setting 2025 end-of-the-year holiday exodus is underway. You're looking live at RDU International, where more than 200,000 people are expected to fly in and out of RDU over the next 2 weeks. If you are headed out to the airport, it's important to reserve your parking space in advance, prepay for checked baggage, and grab your real ID. Here's Ali Kathabar.
And TSA says it's going to be a busy next 10 days here at RDU. They say that there's not one record-breaking travel day, but instead a nearly 2-week-long packed travel period. TSA says they are fully staffed and prepared. The long wait times you'd most likely experience are because of travelers bringing prohibited items through security. And this time of year, those prohibited items could be wrapped gifts for your loved ones. TSA recommends not wrapping your gifts if you're bringing them through security, or make sure they're easy to search. We spoke with some travelers this morning who made sure their gifts are making it to their loved ones on time.
I sent them ahead of me, most of them anyway. So, as a matter of fact, I don't think I have anything with me.
I got some barbecue right here in my backpack, so they can take it out. It's clear, container so they can inspect it.
TSA recommends using gift bags to wrap your gifts or just checking your luggage. You can find all of the holiday travel information on WRAL.com. Reporting at RDU, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
Veterinarians say that it's never too late to start planning before taking your pet with you for the holiday travel. Make sure you have water and emergency food on hand. It's also important to give your pet time to stretch their legs. Owners should also ensure that pets are properly secured.
Dogs and cats should always be in a carrier. Now, I used to have 2 Great Danes. I know Great Danes don't fit in a carrier, but they have options as well. They do have harnesses and seat belts.
A proper carrier is also recommended for those traveling by plane. Many vets caution, though, against stowing pets in cargo if possible. If your pet is highly anxious, talk to your vet ahead of time about medications. Now, for those of you who are going to be driving for the holidays, the national average of the gas prices, well, they dip below $3 a gallon. That's lower than this time last year. In North Carolina, the average for a gallon of gas in Raleigh is around $2.69, in Greensboro $2.68, and in Asheville $2.73.
A bipartisan duo in the House is leading an effort to hold Attorney General Pam Bondi in contempt. Representatives Jamie Raskin and Thomas Massey say the Justice Department failed to release all the Epstein files before last week's deadline. NBC's Alice Barr reports on the new dispute over the incomplete file drop.
Getting you a live look outside right now at Southern Pines. I'm not seeing too many people out there. People are probably getting ready for that holiday rush. Don't worry, maybe you'll get some new clubs and go back there after the holidays. You're watching WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. So temper tantrums are normal for young children. However, kids with mental, behavioral, or emotional health conditions, well, they can be struggling regulating their behavior. Researchers are testing technology that could help detect a tantrum before it happens and then decrease its duration. Using a smartwatch, researchers collected data such as rising heart rate, sleep patterns, and activity levels. And within seconds, monitors send parents an encrypted message through a smartphone app, allowing them to intervene.
With this technology, we can predict the tantrum even up to an hour before it happens with the use of the data.
I could see why this would be very helpful, especially if children have trouble communicating what's wrong. Researchers say that quick action can shorten severe tantrums by an average of about 11 minutes. And the Mayo Clinic is still researching that technology and says future studies will improve the system's accuracy.
A new severe flu variant is spreading across the country, what some doctors are calling a super flu. At least 1,900 people have died from the flu this season. 11 of those deaths have been here in North Carolina, including a child. As millions prepare to travel and gather for the holidays this week, there is a growing concern it may spike. And health experts worry that while the vaccine offers the best protection, it may not be enough from this year's new strain.
We think that this clade K virus is evading population immunity, meaning more people are susceptible to infection. It has mutations that may allow it to evade some, but not all, of the influenza vaccine-induced protection.
As cases climb, children, adults 65 or older, and people with underlying health conditions are among the most vulnerable for the flu. Medical experts are recommending people 6 months or older to get a flu shot this year.
Mud eruption. I mean, you got to see more of this video right here. And what makes this such a rare sight?
Also, turn around, don't drown. It's a familiar phrase that could prove life-saving. Where this dangerous scene played out following some flash flooding. The Carolina Panthers keep their playoff hopes alive with a win over Tampa Bay at home. Bryce Young threw 2 touchdowns and Lathan Ransom intercepted Baker Mayfield with 42 seconds left, allowing the Panthers to beat the Bucs 23-20 for the first place position in the NFC South. It was a huge win for Carolina, but the head coach, Dave Canales, and quarterback Bryce Young know the playoff push is not over yet.
Everything's right in front of us still, and to give ourselves a chance to continue to play meaningful football this time of year, they've earned that.
It feels great, and it'll feel great for the next 24 hours. After that, it's not going to matter. What is this, week 16, 17? That's not when the playoff starts. So there's still a lot more work to be done.
he is focused. A tough test for the Panthers this Sunday. The team will take on the top team in the NFC, the Seattle Seahawks. That game is at 1 p.m.
And there is more football action tonight. A primetime matchup on ESPN. Phillip Rivers and the Indianapolis Colts take on the San Francisco 49ers. The Colts are looking to keep playoff hopes alive tonight at 8:15. And WRAL's newest documentary, Coaching Carolina the Belichick Way, it chronicled legendary coach Bill Belichick's first season in Chapel Hill. His first year brought headlines and attention, but fewer wins than expected. Well, now with the hype and the buzz having subsided, at least a little bit, Belichick faces a critical offseason to turn the Tar Heels into winners. He needs to hire an offensive coordinator there to help fix the broken team there and navigate the transfer portal with players coming and going, and develop a big recruiting class into immediate contributors, of course. Hopefully for UNC faithful, restore some of the excitement from before his initial season. You can read about the challenges ahead for Bill Belichick and the Tar Heels at WRAL.com and watch our documentary online, including our YouTube page.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, we've got an update to a story that we've been following for a while now. A person who used to work as a nurse at UNC Rex that's facing charges of sexual assault was just ordered by the court to take STD tests. So this man here, Brian Alvarez Ortiz, was arrested a couple of weeks ago. He's accused of sexually assaulting at least 2 patients at the hospital who were under the effects of sedatives. So he will have to be tested by the Wake County Health Department, and the department will have to then report those results of all of that testing to the district attorney's office.
All right, thank you, Kelsey. Well, the old saying, here's mud in your eye, takes on a whole new meaning after nature's earthly belch at Yellowstone National Park. The eruption took place at the Black Diamond Pool. It's located between the Old Faithful Geyser and the rainbow-colored Grand Prismatic Spring. Eruptions like this are not often visible because many happen at night. Look at this. A major mud eruption happened back in July of 2024, sending rocks and mud flying hundreds of feet high and damaged a boardwalk. But my goodness, look at that. And now to Northern California, where at least one person is dead after severe flash flooding there. Look at this video. Heavy rainfall inundated roadways and interstate ramps in the city of Redding, stranding several vehicles and prompting water rescues. Officials are urging motorists to avoid flooded streets and always remember, it's something that meteorologists like to say all the time, turn around and don't drown, Chris.
Yes, yeah, a lot of water there, and all due to this atmospheric river, right, that they've talked about for a few days now. Let's show you what that means. This atmospheric river is basically a plume of moisture that moves in from the Pacific in this case, and you've got a lot of complex terrain, especially Northern California near Redding. So over the course of the next few days, more of these storm systems move through into California, and more specifically for the Sierra Nevada, they're going to be looking at several feet of snow. That's something that they do tend to see in those very high elevations there. Meanwhile, across the country, look at this Christmas town forecast. You've got Christmas, Florida is an actual town, 79, Mount Holly, North Carolina, 70, North Pole, New York at 34 on Christmas Day, Garland, Texas is at 84, and then Christmas Valley, Oregon at 44, where they'll see a little bit of snow. But why the warmth? Even for Texas to be in the 80s on Christmas Day, that's not exactly your average Christmas weather. So high pressure is going to be anchored over the southern U.S. The plains probably breaking some records for Christmas Day, and it's strong enough to where we see some unseasonable warmth as well. Christmas Eve, most of us between 64 and 70 degrees. And then Christmas Day, most of us between 66 and 72 degrees, with the triangle likely reaching the upper 60s. So let's say that we hit 69 degrees on the nose, which is what we're forecasting for Christmas Day. It would be the 6th warmest Christmas on record, with the warmest being back in 1955 when we hit 75 degrees. Now, there will be some colder air coming in, especially heading into next Monday and Tuesday, once we get past this cold front right here. That's going to give us a decent shot of some rain Sunday night, and then some colder air will follow that up. But ahead of it, it is going to be quite warm. Not necessarily the case today. Sunshine mixed with some high-level cirrus clouds over Apex, and temperatures looking like this. Apex at 48, Fuquay up to 50, so is Cary and Clayton. Knightdale, Rollsville, Wake Forest, Durham, and Garner all at 47 degrees. So the rest of the afternoon, not too bad. We'll see temperatures rise a little bit more, and we'll make it into the low 50s between 2 and 4 p.m. Heading into the evening, temperatures will kind of remain steady in the 30s as we start to see more clouds moving in. Then out the door tomorrow, temperatures mid to upper 30s with just very sporadic and light rain showers. Then by midday, we're mostly dry, but still mostly cloudy in the upper 40s. And as you're coming home or heading out for the afternoon, temperatures will be in the upper 50s. Some of us, especially south of the Triangle, making it into the low 60s. Mid to upper 60s Christmas Eve, upper 60s likely Christmas Day. Friday's forecast is changeable. There's going to be a front to our north, so if it sags a little bit farther south, we may have to take temperatures down. So be checking back for updates on the day after Christmas. Then as we head into the weekend, plenty warm. It's Sunday night that we see that cold front bring the return of some colder air. So never a dull moment, even during the week of Christmas, guys.
A dull moment. Thank you, Chris. Food for fines. How one town is allowing drivers to reduce their bill while paying it forward this holiday season.
As we wrap up, here's a few of the headlines that we're tracking for today. Starting today, children are banned from visiting patients at WakeMed hospitals. The visitation restrictions are in effect to protect patients and the public during flu season. No one younger than 12 is allowed in nursing units, patient care areas, or waiting rooms at WakeMed hospitals. Similar visitation restrictions are going into effect at Duke and UNC health facilities.
And a person is dead, another in custody after a shooting at a home in Durham. It happened around 5 o'clock this morning on Ardsley Drive near Cheek Road. Deputies say a resident at the home confessed to shooting another person in the home and was arrested. The victim was found dead at the scene. We are asking police what led up to that shooting.
North Carolina could have its next offensive coordinator, and it's a big name in coaching, college coaching. Multiple reports say the Tar Heels and Bill Belichick will hire Bobby Petrino to run the offense. Petrino is best known for his coaching stints at Louisville and Arkansas. He was the offensive coordinator at Arkansas for the last 2 seasons and had top 20 offenses both years. UNC fired offensive coordinator Freddie Kitchens after a 4-8 season.
Paying parking tickets with a twist. A police department in Wisconsin is accepting non-perishable food items as form of payment.
I think it's perfect. You know, you're going to have to pay anyway, so why not benefit others?
I love that. It started back in 2019, and every year it is a popular way to help the community. Instead of cash, drivers can donate or bring up to 5 items to void their ticket. Each item counts as $5 toward the fine, and all of those items must be dropped off in person within 10 days of receiving the ticket. The donation program ends January 5th. They are onto something there.
I love that.
Yes.
That is amazing. Well, a sea of Santas dotted the Greek coastline, raising money for a great cause. Members of a water sports club dressed up as Santa Claus to spread some holiday cheer along the waterfront there. That event is known locally as Santa Sup, or Standing Up Paddle Boarding. It's a chance for the paddle boarders to make waves while raising money for the local children's hospital. It's the 5th year that group has started to wear their red and white Santa suits for this cause. Pretty cool.
That is very cool. Well, in the patrol car and in the classroom on WRAL News at 4, the many hats worn by NCCU's new interim police chief and his family's legacy at that school.
Each year, WRAL's Coach for the Children campaign collects donations as well as gently used clean coats, hats, and gloves to outfit children in our community. This is a major community partnership between WRAL and the Salvation Army, and it would not be possible without you. And as of today, Coach for the Children has raised $136,514 during our current campaign.
Amazing.
And get this, there's still time for you to participate. You can go online to WRAL.com.